Hi guys, Jean here. I am early today. Could you imagine? Light is still outside. Normally, for the last I've been doing this at midnight, late night. I have my sage. I want to sage the internet. I want to sage the YouTube street. I want to sage my environment. It is just how you cleanse and you just, it's just a beautiful thing. Just the scent of sage alone. I feel like, yeah, it's just beautiful. Soul and sage, eh? Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So honestly, I want to really, chat about, I don't know, truth and lies. What is the truth? What is a lie? Because I tell you, we're living in a world right now where apparently we don't know the difference. And for me not to even speak on this, it's almost like me capping myself. But before I speak on it, I'm going to go say sideways. So this morning, yesterday yesterday my friend sent me a voice message, and in the voice message, she's telling me one thing. Oh, I'm down the street, I'm out here, and all of a sudden, I was at this area, and now I'm back home. But I'm looking for a bottle with a cap on it. I don't know where to find it. And and this happened. I supposed to do X, Y, and Z. Here is the point I'm trying to make. That is what I do here. That is what I do here. That is exactly what I do here. I start talking on one thing, then I go all the way over there on something else, then I come all the way back over here on the thing that I was talking about, and then I go up and down and back and forth. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I have undiagnostic ADHD. Maybe I haven't been diagnosed for these things, ADHD, yeah, all the things. It's possible I'm in some of that lane because I can feel myself when I go up and down. But anyway, it's always nice to be with you guys. It's always nice to sit here and chat. Um, Subscribe. I'm going to say that. Subscribe to my channel. And and like. Because when you subscribe, you are actually helping me. And guys, I know you want to help me succeed on these YouTube street. And you can be a part of that by subscribing and listening to my video and looking at my videos. As mentioned before, if you look at any of my other videos, I am here for about 100 days, but I think I'm going to continue on for the entire year. And so far, I've been here now. We're on the 2nd of February. So I've been here for 32 days already, 33 days. I'm on my 33 days. So I am so excited to be here and showing up no matter what noise I'm hearing and what I'm telling myself. I'm starting to tell my thoughts that they are lying. And I think you should join me in doing that because I think there is a lesson here in this truth and lies that we are witnessing on these Instagram street and these YouTube street or TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Starburst. I'm not on Thread. I can only handle um, YouTube and maybe Facebook. And even on Facebook, I just post my videos on Facebook and I'm just scrolling on Instagram. I haven't really, but I do want to get back posting on Instagram, to be honest. I do have an excuse for that somewhere. But this truth and lie, like what is going on? I know you guys are out there. If you're watching my video, if you're not living under a rock, we are seeing what is happening in our neighboring country, in the US. We are seeing what is happening. I'm not going to really talk a lot about that, but I am really wanting to ask about the truth and lies. How do we determine who is telling the truth and who is not telling the truth? How do we determine that? How do we determine seeing something with our own eyes, but yet someone telling us that we didn't see what we saw? How do we, what is the answer for both of that? Did we see it or did we not see it? Are we living in a veil and other people are in the other at the other side of the veil? As a matter of fact, I thought I heard someone said something similar to that. There was yeah, I think maybe on Instagram, and she was talking about all the dimensions. And it's a possibility that there is the people who um the people who is saying that, you know, those people over there are lying, those people are in their own crappy dimension. And the people who are saying, I see this with my own eye, they are in the top dimension. That's how I decide to give it. I'm giving it a level. So all the people that's saying, oh, you didn't see what you see, they are in the bottom dimension. You know, they are down there in the weeds, in the bottom. And it doesn't mean that their truth is not their truth, because their truth is their truth, you know. For me, when I look at it, I mean, it just makes me, it breaks my heart. I'm going to fix my video, this camera a little bit. I find it's a little, yeah. hmm yep, I feel like yeah, maybe I just draw you to something that I shouldn't draw you to, but it's all right. It's all right. I mean, I'm just not perfect. So let's go back to this truth and light thing and this way that I'm trying to reflect on it and deep dive into it, right? I, for me, for me, what I, what is my truth, it's possible would never ever be your truth. What I believe may never be what you believe. And the question is, how can we all coincide with all the different belief system that we have? Because again, underneath the color of our skin and, you know, our texture of our hair and our culture, you know, we are human, you know. Actually, we are spiritual being having a human experience, if you really get into it. And I cannot get into it because I don't know a lot of the background, but that I do know. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So the bottom line is we are all human, no matter the color of our skin. And that is an important thing too, because, you know, we still experience life differently, you know, and that depend on the color of our skin. So when we are speaking truth and lies, when I'm looking at something on Instagram, I don't even need the Instagram person to tell me whether they're telling me the truth or they're telling me a lie. I don't actually need them to do that. I don't need anybody to do that. Because here is the thing. The thing is, I just know if it's, you know, it's like all the people that does the energy work, you know, and they do all the energy thing and they talk about energy and life is energy and everything is energy, which is actually quite true. It's all energetic, you know, it's all in nature, it's all there, all the things. And I don't need someone to tell me what is true or what is a lie. I just know. You know, if you're lying to me, I just know that you're lying to me. And if you're telling me the truth, I know that you're telling me the truth as well. I don't have to go, you know, I don't have to, I don't need the argument about it. I don't need the, okay, this person see this and this person see that, and what is the truth, and why can't we get the truth, and who is telling it or who doesn't tell it. I don't really need that, neither do you. All you really need is your own vibration. That's it. That's what you need. You know, your own vibration. You need to listen. You know, have you ever heard the phrase, you know, sit quietly and listen? Listen to what your body is saying. Listen to what comes up in your body. You know how when you're doing yoga And even this morning I was doing yoga because I do yoga every morning. Well, actually, I just told a lie. See, I catch myself. I don't do yoga every morning. I do yoga, but it doesn't happen 7 days a week, right? I do videos every day, but I don't do yoga every morning. So that is kind of false. And I don't walk every day. I walk almost every day, but not every day. And I'm doing right now doing yoga 3 maybe 4 times a week. At least I want to average um, maybe 4 times a week, but it's obvious I might do it 3 times a week and walk at least 4 times a week. Either way, and so again, I just got distracted. So let's come back to this whole idea of vibration. Excuse me, many people call it energy, as you hear me say earlier on. They call it what? The universe. However you want to call it, that's fine. But for me, I feel like there is a vibration, there's a vibe. And yeah, Caribbean woman in here, there's a vibe. And so this morning when I was doing yoga and I was listening to Adrian, and she was like, lie down on your back and, do a nice big stretch. Inhale, exhale. And when you exhale, feel into your body, listen to your body, right? So if you're a big yoga person, you know all about listening to your body. And when we are definitely listening to our body, we can hear what our body is saying. If we trust what we are hearing, if we trust, what our body is saying, right? And that is the thing, the trust. What comes up? What comes up first for you? And you need to trust that. So this morning I'm like, what am I going to discuss on YouTube today? What am I talking about? Because it is important for me to do my video, and it's important. I haven't planned this out. Could you imagine me trying to plan out 100 days of this and then come here and be regimental? It would be so not me. There is some plan here and there. Of course, I need to know what I'm talking about, but I don't have a script. You see, I'm looking on the side. Sometimes I have sometimes I would have I have a big book, I call it, and sometimes I would just make notes in it, and I just make some notes so that I don't lose my point, as the point on, listening to your body and hearing what your body has to say. So nobody wants to lose their point on that, right? So the whole thing is, when you trust, this morning I'm like, what am I going to talk about? You know what? Truth and lie just come to my mind. And I'm like, I'm going to trust that because that has been coming up so much. Oh my God. Like everywhere, like the whole internet. And I am on the internet now, the whole internet. It's like this person is saying this and this person is saying this, and there's all of that. But if you sit and listen to yourself, you're going to know what the truth and the lie is. Because if we are all human and we are tapping into the same, organic system, and yeah, you can come to me, come for me because I say just use a word that may not be correct. My organs, not organic, my organs, yeah. So when we think about it, when something comes up, like for instance, if you want to write and you get your pen and your paper, and you get your block, you're harboring and you're block and you can't write, and everybody's walking around, they are writers, but they have writer block and they cannot. You know why they cannot write? They're not writing what comes to them, they're trying to write something else, and the idea is they have to write what is coming. You have to go with that. because when you start going with that, the thing that you really want to come with, it's going to come. And if anybody here, I think, unless you were living under a rock, you know the woman that wrote The Artist's Way, right? The Artist's Way, it's a study. Well, she wrote a book on it where you do a 3 page every morning. You do your pages every morning, and then you go out and do different things in the world, and then it's a way of life. It's a way of living and giving yourself these things. And I love the Artist Way for that because she wrote a book on writing. And I think that is one of the best book. I think her book on writing, and was it Stephen King book on writing? Stephen King's write a book on writing as well. Amazing, amazing, you know. So the whole idea about writing is to sit down and write what comes. And yeah, maybe nothing is coming, and you can write that. Nothing is coming. I am just sitting here wanting to write my book, but nothing is coming. It's full of shit. I'm never going to get where I want to go because I want to write this story about X, Y, and Z. And it seems like my mind is blank. And as long as my mind is blank, there is nothing I can do. I just have to sit here and look at my blank mind. But if I look up and I look out the window, I see the sky, and there is a bit of a cloud in the sky, and there is some dark cloud in the sky, and I can see the mountain. Wow, and the mountain have snow in between all the dark areas of the mountain. So it looks like one of those really classic mountains that you see in movies. And there is a few fir tree outside. It is all green because here in Canada, in this part of the Canada, our trees do not lose their leaves like the other ones. And this window is looking good. There is still, look at that. Did you notice that? I almost write a whole book, right? So when we sit in and we say we have writer's block, I don't know. It's not really true. But I was going somewhere with that. Yeah, coming back into that whole idea of going with what comes. And this is how truth and lie work. This is how truth and lie work. When people are telling you the truth, especially if it's charged, if it's around something that is, all this emotional stuff, it's, are you picking up what they're putting down? Right? Are you picking up what they're putting down? I can be on the internet and just look at someone and I am crying. And so I understand innately that we have this inside of us where we can tell what is, what the truth is, what our truth is, not your truth or their truth or all the things that is out there. What is your truth? You don't have to question people. You don't have to argue about what is right and wrong. You don't have to argue about who is telling find out what your truth is. And again, I know, I know what my truth is. So if you come to me and telling me a tall tale, I might listen, I might shake my head, I might agree with you, and I might even say, wow, that's amazing. I actually would say that, wow, that's amazing. I get it. That's good. I understand it. I may not tell you that you're lying. I may never tell you that you're lying. I may never tell you that I know that you're lying. I may never tell you that you're full of shit, and I know that. Um, I may just say, yeah, I get it. Good. So, really and truly, what I want to leave you guys with here today is you don't have to ask anyone about your truth, you know? Just sit in a yoga pose and ask yourself what the truth is, what are you feeling? What is your truth? What comes up for you? Does it feel like it's not right? Does it feel like it is a lie? It feels like someone is not telling the truth. Does it feel like that? All you all parents out there, like, let's just go into parenthood for a little bit. I mean, all parents, especially women that is in tune to their children and men as well, when your kid is lying to you. Even though you lie to them as well and tell them you don't know that they're lying to you, but you know that they're lying to you. That's all you need, is to just zone into your parental abilities, your parental witcheries or whatever, and get that it is the same way when you know that you know that you know that your kids is lying and they're watching you in the face, and especially your teenagers, and you know that there's not much you can do about them lying because that's where they are. There is not much you can do about them lying because that's where they are. I wanted to show you, oh, I wonder if I can show you this right now. um yeah, a friend of mine sent me this beautiful gift, handmade, nice little wang. Hold on, let me just see. Give me a moment. I'm just gonna go see if I can get it quickly. Yep. I did something for the first time. I left the camera running and go and look for something. Um, the friend that gave me this, she told me, um, uh, everybody didn't get their gift as yet, so I cannot tell anybody about it. But here is the thing, none of my friends actually watch none of my friends actually watch my videos because they're like, oh, why do I need to watch her video? She's just my friend, like I know what I need to know already. Um, I think there's something else in here. What is it? But I think I can share it with you guys, talking about, getting to know the truth. And this comes at the right time because you see this one yesterday we, February 1st, like, could you see this right here? February 1st, or do I need to bring it? Where do I need to bring it? Could you see that? February 1st. Um, embolic. That was the embolic. And if I'm not saying it right, someone can always correct me, because this is the wheel of the year, right, guys? Do you guys know that this is the wheel of the year? And it tells you all about the solstice and the equinox and the Beltane, which is May long weekend, and Liti, all the things. I have it on here. So it gives me, we are right here now on the wheel of the year. In spring, March 19th to the 22nd, we're going to be going into the Austria area. But right now and I just like to keep it here because it just remind me someone did that for me, hand, create that by hand for me. And so I find that this gift is kind of fitting with the what is the truth and what is a lie. It's kind of fitting with that. Someone sent me this beautiful, beautiful. It's actually like a witchy wang. You see it? So I bewitch you. Yeah. Yeah. Look at this wang. It is so beautiful. I think I am definitely in that classic area of, this kind of a esoteric, um, beautiful thing. I don't know if I want to read this here for you. I'm going to read it offline first and see what it have to say before I read it online here. But listen, like, share, and subscribe to my video. And yeah, I'm just here telling you like it is. So yeah, do that. And remember that you actually have the power. You know who is lying and you know who is telling the truth. You don't even have to ask them. You don't even have to argue. You can just say, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. I get it. Yeah, yeah, I understand. You can just be agreeable and on one, you don't have to fight the fight. because you know who's telling the truth. And if they're lying, you can always look them right in the eyes and say, I put a spell on you. I put a spell on you. I put a spell on you. Yeah. Yeah. So you can just put a spell on them. Alrighty then, that's it for today. I mean, it's early in the day, and I'm going to move forward and stop this video. So what I'm going to say is do less and be more. Be more mindful, be more aware, be more, be, be less busy, be less running around, be less anxiety, be more calm, be more tranquil. Yeah, those are all the things you can be more, and you can be less chaotic. Talk to you guys soon. Love you guys. Bye.